Hey everybody, this is Collector Dude. I'm going to do part 7 of the George Pérez book. Here's The Art of George Pérez. Very cool. Beautiful artwork and everything. This is part 7. So I'm going to show you the artwork here. This is all pencil stuff from Crisis. It says it's Crisis on Infinite Earths number 10, page 6, pencils for 1986. Wow. Look at the detail. All the detail is beautiful. So hitting all the different worlds and everything. All the detail is amazing when you look at this. Now this is a cover for Anything Goes number 4, inked by George Pérez in 1986. It's like, wow. I wonder if Tom Smith did the colors. Yeah. And George's signature. I used to write my signature like that because my name begins with a G. I love this artwork. See what he says down here. The original plan was to start the entire DCU over with number 1 issues after Crisis ended, with no past baggage, but they couldn't do it then. Now, of course, it's being done to great success, but back then they didn't have the manpower and the planning to make that work. The level of planning required for something like that is astronomical. Wow. Let's turn the page and see what we got next. Just beautiful, more beautiful stuff. Okay, now we got the History of the DC Universe, page 77, inked by Carl Kessel, 1988. Wow, Dark Side. In the background, it's like, man. And Phantom Stranger's cool. I like how they do the cape. Here's another one down here. Shazam. I'm not sure if that's the wizard back there or a good guy or bad guy. History of the DC Universe, page 67, inked by Carl Kessel, 1988. Really cool artwork. Gives you an idea like what you do with some of your characters. If you create characters, gives you an idea what to do. Like he did that circle and he's got the lightning coming out here. Always there's like a certain pattern. I can see like a poster or like a statue made like this, with this in the background and him standing in the front of it in a circle. And they have maybe it'd be cool to have a little those electric panels that shoot out the lightning and everything. Have a character like him standing in front. That's cool. Let's see what he's got to say. History of the DC Universe was an artistic challenge, designing pages that flow visually while chronicling a history rather than telling a story in a more limited time frame. Originally, History was supposed to be the last 2 issues of Infinite Earths, but Crisis got so big that we had to utilize all 12 issues for the story. Wow, that's cool. I didn't know that. So it was probably, maybe it was going to be 10 issues, and then they were going to put the History of the DC Universe after it. But since they made it 12 issues, and they had these 2 extras. Cool. I got to check my collection. I think I have all the Crisis issues, and I think I have them all. And I got the History of DC Universe stuff. Look how beautiful he lays stuff out here. Wow. The helmet and the feathers and everything. Just all the detail. That's power there. Okay, now we got History of the DC Universe, page 10. Pencils, 1988. Wow. Oh, there's another beautiful page here. Look at that. Wow. The Teen Titans. He just knows how to set up the pages and everything, how he just does the design and everything, just half and half, just breaking it all up. Just very cool. And where to put all the figures and stuff when he designs everything. People in the center. Nice, and the coloring's really nice too. This is History of the DC Universe, page 68, inked by Carl Kessel in 1988. Very cool. The feathers and everything. This cosmos in the background is beautiful too. Now we have over here History of the DC Universe, page 20, inked by Carl Kessel, 1988. Green Lantern stuff. See how you can make all the people in the background there. And then look at the buildings. She's the columns and the statues and the frames and the bases and everything. So wow. Oh, this guy's in the dirt. Always made rubble really nice as well. What do we got here? I was very pleased with History of the DC Universe. But if you look at the first few pages, you can see that I didn't quite understand what Marv wanted to do in the beginning. Then I realized that Marv wanted to do it much more like an illustrated history. I didn't have to do panel progression. That's cool. I had to do illustrations. I approached it as if I were drawing individual covers, and that freed me to do all the design work I ever learned from Art Nouveau and Art Deco. Okay. Droulet's style, other artists like that, influenced me. In some cases, I also tried to evoke the artist who originally did those characters. Suddenly, I'm drawing big pictures rather than multiple panels. The same things that would work in comics were perfect for History of the DC Universe. If you look at the design of the book, you can see that the circle was my favorite motive, yeah. Okay. That really wouldn't work well in a comic book story, but it worked great here. Yeah, he's cool. Gosh, he's cool. Beautiful art. Okay, now we got History of the DC Universe, page 79, inked by Carl Kessel, 1988. That's cool. Wonder Woman. Wow. I mean, you just look at the detail there. Just a detail on the statue there. And then the plane. And you come down here to the horse. Look at that. All the armor she has on. And then the Wonder Woman thing, and then how he breaks up the boxes down here. Look at all the circles. Everything in the statue back there. The base. And then everything around Wonder Woman's, the saddle, the blanket or whatever you want to call it, under the saddle. Wow. Then the shield. I'm not sure how big he drew this, but wow, man. Okay, and then we look at here. At the same time I did history, I was doing covers for Who's Who. Oh, those were awesome too. So I was getting to do pinup illustration. There were even some pages that were reproduced from my pencils. I penciled so dang hard that they were able to do that. I was inspired by Mike Grell. Most of the stuff he was doing on John Sable was reproduced from his pencils. Wow. I wasn't using vellum paper like Mike did, but I was using very heavy pencils. I was really digging into the paper. I see some Mike Grill books at Half Price Books. I'm going to have to check them out and see if I can pick them up. There's some John Sable books, I mean. See if I can get some. Okay, and this is Super Role-Playing Game and Hero System Rules. Hero Games. Champions, the Super Role-Playing Game. Cool. Champions 4th edition. Cover inked by George Pérez, 1989. Did somebody else pencil it? I guess he did the whole thing. It looks like his artwork. Very nice. All the detail on that. Okay, now we got more Wonder Woman covers. Like, these are beautiful. Here's number 3. Here's 6. Wow. I hope they do a artist edition of his artwork. I haven't seen one yet of his. Like a big giant book with his artwork from Wonder Woman, just the Avengers, everything he's done. Some of his early stuff, White Tiger and everything. It's just Man Wolf. That's beautiful. That's page cover 8. That's really cool there. Then we got cover 7 here. Just beautiful. Millennium Week 1. Here's number 12 of Wonder Woman. She's got a gun. Wow. Wonder Woman number 12. Cover inked by George Pérez, 1988. Then we have Wonder Woman covers inked by George Pérez, 1988. All those over there. Now we see what he's got to say here. Ironically, Titans led to Wonder Woman. After doing a Titan story set on Paradise Island with the Titans of myth, I got that bug in me to do something mythological. I wanted to do a story arc for Wonder Woman that was reminiscent of the Thor Trial of the Gods storyline. I was an enormous fan of Ray Harryhausen, and I loved seeing what Walt Simonson was doing on Thor at the time. Cool. I happened to be in the DC offices with an editor at the time, Janice Race, and she told me that they had no firm battle plan for Wonder Woman. Superman was John Burns, and Frank Miller had Batman, but they didn't have anyone who wanted to do Wonder Woman without changing her to unrecognizability. Oh. I mentioned that I had an idea. I said, if you'd give me a 6-month development time, maybe you'd like me to take a crack at the first 6 months of the book. The writer Greg Potter had some ideas that I liked, some that I didn't. I worked with him initially, but I think he saw the writing on the wall. So after the first 2 issues, he bowed out of the series. Okay. Unlike any other person who's ever worked on Wonder Woman, since her creation, I got the luxury that no other creator, short of William Moulton Marston, ever had. I got to start her from scratch. Cool. Everyone else wanted to do subtle changes and reboots, but I was allowed to start from a blank slate. That's awesome. I know the story by that. Go ahead, George. Wow. Okay, just a second. Okay, here we go. Here's Wonder Woman, number 14. He is just so good. Look at all the people in that. Look at the perspective. Cover inked by George Pérez, 1988. Look at that vase right there. The laces on the sandals. The steps. Everything's just, man, the flowers. You see, look up there. I wonder who owns these covers, and I wonder what they were worth, what they cost. See how that's cool how they put the symbol down here. Put it just like that in this one here, over here. And he fit it right there. That's cool. Scott McDaniel does a lot of that stuff. He'll incorporate the logos and different things in his artwork. Look at all the detail back there. Look at the water fountain. Man. Okay, and then over here he's got, it's just the God of War. I forgot what his name, Ares, yeah, that's it. Sketch inked by George Pérez, 2004. That's cool. Let's see what he has to say now. I liked Wonder Woman as a concept. I liked what I could do visually with the book. But believe it or not, I didn't read Wonder Woman comics. Oh, okay. And I don't know, I didn't read many of them either. I mean, I liked her. I remember the show. We watched the show when we were kids and everything like that because everybody loved Linda Carter. Okay, let's see. I didn't read Wonder Woman comics, so my respect was for a character. But I wasn't bound to all the trivial details of her comic book history. Some things I could use, but as I researched her, I saw that there were more things I didn't want to use. I was becoming a creator for a totally different era, so some things would no longer work. Okay. I felt it was kind of unfair that Wonder Woman was part of the big three, but she didn't get the respect she was due. No one was there to pick up the series and try to help her. With my personal and professional reputation, I think they saw me as the last person who would volunteer to do Wonder Woman. Okay. I could have picked anything that at that point, but I volunteered to do Wonder Woman. My heart was in the right place. I had a sense of where I wanted to go, and I benefited from Karen Berger becoming my editor when Janice Race left. Karen has now become the gold standard by which I measure all editors. The same freedom I had on Titans with Marv, I had totally on my own with Wonder Woman. Wow. It was a real personal success because it was a success that no one saw coming. As an artist, I was known, but as a writer, I was untried and unproven. To this day, though, I hear from people who still look at my Wonder Woman series as the high watermark of the series. That's cool. Still look at my Wonder Woman as the high watermark of the series. That's cool. Now we got Wonder Woman 15, cover inked by George Pérez, 1988. This is so cool. Just two colors like that. Or three. Black, blue, and then I guess leaving the white. Everything like that is so cool. Okay, let's see what he has to say here. There was a comment that the late Don Simpson made to me. Sometimes the greatest heroes are defined not by what they do, but how people react to them. How the world saw her to define a lot of the series. Okay, saw her help to define a lot of the stories. Okay, I'm a bit of a lapsed Catholic, but the fact is that I went through a phase of being anti-religion. I was doing Wonder Woman, a character seen as having pagan beliefs, but I had to show her as a tolerant person on the other side of intolerance, and that made me look at life differently. I came to respect anyone who uses their faith in a positive manner. That came about from being inside Wonder Woman's head. She was one of the few comic book characters who actually prayed. She was no longer a distaff Superman. During the Superman Wonder Woman meeting, I had to make it very clear that she was not just another Superman. When he first saw her, he assumed that she was a superheroine. She assumed that he was a god. As the story progressed, she saw that there was less than she had initially thought. Okay. And he saw that she was much more. This was the essence of Wonder Woman to me. This is what I wanted to do, and I never thought I would last that long on Wonder Woman. That's cool. After all, who thought it would sell? But very quickly, it became totally my book. I was totally plotting from number 3 on, and then scripting it as well. The book was selling as well as it had since the late 1940s and early 1950s. Wonder Woman sold well. She was respected, and I got awards for my work on the series. That's cool. This beautiful artwork. He did, I mean, everything. The beautiful artwork and the story. Now we got here Wonder Woman covers inked by George Perez in 1988. Would you look at this when I have this cover? Look at the buildings. He's got everything in the front, but my goodness, wow. The feathers are just really cool. That was number 16. Here's number 17 right here. This is cool. Traces. Now we got this one. This is a beautiful cover. It's a spooky one. Number 18. Wow. You know all the grass down there. The weeds. Wow. Now we got cover number 21. This is cool. Eva Destruction. Like when she smashes the, I guess like in the movie, maybe they got that off of this and everything, how she smashes the gauntlets together and it just explodes stuff. And I'm thinking, I saw in the movie when Wonder Woman, she could have just ran over and knocked the guy out, but she slammed the the gauntlets together and tore out that whole wall of the building, that beautiful bank. I'm thinking they probably looked at her like, just like when Hancock smashed that train, when he said, why don't you just lift the car up and fly straight up and get out of the way? You know, you had to let the train hit you and smash you, and or smash the train and all the hundreds of thousands of dollars of destruction. You just flew out of the way. And he said, you just messed up. And he didn't know how to do it back then. So I'm thinking, why did Wonder Woman slam those gauntlets together to take out that guy with that gun after he shot at the captives and everything, and she blocked all the bullets? He goes, I don't believe it. She goes, and then she slammed the things together, I believe, or something like that. Wow. So when I saw that again, I said, yeah, I forgot she did that. She just blew up the whole side of that building. And everything blew out and it hit the cop cars and everything like that. I'm like, really? Okay, here's number 19 of Wonder Woman. Look at all the detail. The folds and the cloth and everything, the dress, the pillow, all the little creatures there, the scales. The different little creatures. All the stars in the background. It's like, wow. Just beautiful work of art. Wonder Woman 19 cover inked by George Perez, 1989. Wow. Now this one says, I was thrilled that I had a chance to work with Gail Simone to do the last Perez-inspired Wonder Woman story. It was nice to know that so many people loved and respected that particular run. Now that's cool. Gail Simone's good too. All right. Oh, the 90s. He was a very good costume designer as well. Iron Man and the medieval stuff for the Avengers. There's Captain America, or Yowman, or however I forgot what they called him, and he was the Iron Knight, and this guy was Captain Yowman or something like that for Captain America. Very cool. I remember meeting this girl. She signed one of the books I had. Very cool. I think she actually has a tattoo like that. You know, Crimson Plague and everything. She was in that. I had the main girl, Dinah, and then her. I forgot what her name is. It doesn't say here, unless it might say it on the other page. Now we got here, an organization book for the Olympians. We got Champions, number 414, Hero Games. Look at the detail. George Perez. And cover inked by George Perez. Champions, the Olympians, and inked by him in 1990. Wow. Look at this. I mean, you just look at all of this. Not skimping on the background either. The perspective. Everybody's there. Man. We got here Action Comics number 650, page 19, inked by George Pérez, 1990. Wow. See, they've got to do an artist edition book with him. I mean, I got one of his later stuff, but I'd like to see some of this, his DC and Marvel artwork. Wow. And I did a flip through of one of his books with just his pencils and everything and inks in it. But I want to see this stuff too. This is just beautiful. Man. And this was Who's Who in the DC Universe number 4, page 37, inked by George Pérez in 1990. Wow. Look at the rubble. Since he always does so much detail. Look at the detail on the boots. He did detail. It's just awesome. Okay, now we got... Okay, by the 90s, there was a Pérez style that would be the same at any company, as opposed to when I first went to DC, where there was a distinct Marvel style that I incorporated. Everything much bigger than life. Action scenes more dynamic, much bigger. At DC, what eventually became the Pérez style came through until there was a much better balance between the elements. Now we got the Infinity Gauntlet, number 1, cover inked by George Pérez, 1991. Wow. And then people pay homage to this cover a lot. They do their own versions of it, just like they do with Todd McFarlane. Very cool. He says it looks like there's so much more there with the buildings there. How he does the silhouettes of them with Spider-Man flying above them or swinging above them. Man. Awesome. Now we got the Infinity Gauntlet number 2, cover inked by George Pérez, 1991. See, I'd love to see this. Then that would be cool too. Just a whole thing of doing the whole Infinity Gauntlet series. What was it, 6 books? I know Ron Lim took over after he left, but just do George's books and what George worked on and then jump into something else. But look at that. That's beautiful. Look at all the people. Wow. And like this, what's going on the screen over here with Wolverine. And over here with Namor. Well, they call it Namor now. Is it Namor or Namor? I'm like, somebody was watching a video about the new Namor. And they said they named it, pronounced it differently. I'm like, really? Come on. Okay, now we have, by the time I went back to Marvel, my style was developed and I made no effort to change things, other than my practice of trying to stay true to the characters, depending on who I was using as my visual benchmark. Okay, for example, Captain America should evoke the Jack Kirby look, while I might use John Buscema or Neil Adams as inspiration for women, filtering them through my style so that the faces look like my work and not someone else's. I have always focused on the faces. It makes sketching characters much easier if I do distinctive faces. I know he did that. He always made Thor look different, had a different nose than Superman. Like, he made them all look different. Captain America and everybody looked different. And She-Hulk was different than all the other, than the Wasp and stuff like that. So, I have always focused on the faces. It makes sketching characters much easier if I do distinctive faces, since there's isn't much of the costume visible in a sketch. I like characters to look very distinctive and real, but I learned very quickly I also have to be careful not to go too far, especially with female characters. If you make a female face look too realistic, the character doesn't look beautiful by comic book standards, even if the model for the drawing is beautiful in real life. Wow. By this time, though, the Pérez style was what publishers wanted. No one was asking me to change my style at all to fit a company look. Cool. And we got more here. Infinity Gauntlet number 3, page 38, inked by Joe Rubinstein, 1991. All the silhouettes. Explosion. Then we got Infinity Gauntlet number 2, page 7, inked by Joe Rubinstein, 1991. All the detail and everything in that as well. Oh, cool how he designed the work and everything, how he designs the pages. Okay. I'm going to read one more page and I'll be done. I'll go through this. Try to make them 30 minutes. This is Infinity Gauntlet number 1, page 17, inked by Joe Rubinstein. Just very, very cool. Wow. And here we go with The Dark, number 4. Cover inked by George Pérez, 1993. Look at all the detail there. The chainmail. Wow. Nice. All right, I'm going to stop it there. That's part 8, or part 7. I'm going to start part 8 pretty soon so we can get through this book. I know a lot of people have been looking for this, and one guy specifically asked me about it, so I'm going to try to get through it. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Give me any suggestions, and I'll try to incorporate them into what I'm doing. But thank you very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and Collector Dude is out.